Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're your shortcut to understanding the big shifts really shaping our world.
That's right.
And today, we are plunging into something huge, the gig economy platforms market. It's changing how we all work and earn.
Absolutely. And our goal here really is to cut through the noise. We want to show you what's actually happening, what the numbers mean.
Yeah, what does it mean for you, the listener? Thinking about flexible work, digital workspaces, all those tech-driven income streams.
Exactly. This isn't just abstract data. It's about the future of work. So we've gathered the key insights to give you that clear picture.
Okay, so let's kick off with the sheer scale.
Hmm.
I mean, the global numbers are pretty eye-watering. Back in 2021, the market was already, what, just over $11 billion?
Mm-hmm. 11,033.1 million, to be precise. Significant, but listen to this.
Okay.
By 2025, just a few years later, it's expected to nearly double. We're talking over $21.5 billion.
Wow, okay, doubling.
And it doesn't stop there. If you look out to 2033, the forecast is, well, it's incredible. $82.4 billion.
$82 billion, that's massive.
It is, and that represents a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of over 18%. 18.244% to be exact over that whole period.
So this isn't just some passing trend then?
No, not at all. This is a fundamental shift, a massive ongoing redefinition of work, of how businesses use talent, how people find opportunities.
Right. So where is this revolution really taking hold most strongly? Let's
Yeah.
talk regions. North America seems like a good place to start. It's dominant, right?
It is currently the leader. In 2021, they were pulling in around $4.5 billion,
Okay.
and that's projected to nearly double, too, by 2025, hitting $8.6 billion.
And long term, towards that 2033 mark.
Still very strong. North America is expected to reach almost $32 billion. That's $31,980 million, maintaining a robust CAGR just slightly under the global average at about 17.8%.
Okay, so sustained growth. What's driving that, do you think? Mature digital infrastructure? Culture?
Yeah, I think it's a mix. Definitely the infrastructure, a culture that, embraces entrepreneurship, and a pretty fluid labor market that's quick to adopt these flexible models.
And within North America, I assume the U.S. is the big driver.
Oh, absolutely. The U.S. is projected to go from $3.7 billion in 2021, get this, to $26 billion by 2033.
$26 billion just for the U.S.
Just the U.S. But it's not the only story there. Canada is showing incredible strength, too.
Right. How's Canada looking?
Growing from under $500 million in 2021 to over $3.6 billion by 2033. That's an 18.6% CAGR, actually slightly higher than the U.S. in percentage terms.
Interesting. And Mexico?
Mexico's also posting strong numbers, rising from about $323 million to over $2.3 billion. That CAGR is nearly 18%.
So the whole region is really leaning into this. High digital literacy, readiness from both workers and businesses, it sounds like.
Exactly, a deep adoption that just keeps expanding.
Okay, so that's North America. Let's hop across the pond. Europe. Is it a similar picture there, or are the dynamics different?
Europe's definitely showing steady, strong expansion. Maybe not quite the same explosive numbers in absolute terms initially, but the growth trajectory is very solid.
Okay, what are the overall figures?
So Europe started at roughly $2.3 billion in 2021. It's projected to reach over $4.5 billion by 2025 and then hit $16.7 billion by 2033.
$16.7 billion. And the growth rate?
Also very strong. The CAGR is similar to North America, actually, just under 18%, around 17.7%. It shows that even with maybe different labor regulations or cultural approaches, the digital economy is really driving adoption there, too.
And within Europe, who are the main players leading that charge?
Well, the UK is significant, expanding from around $337 million to nearly $2.5 billion expected by 2033. That's an 18.1% CAGR.
Okay.
Germany, a powerhouse economy, is also key. It's forecast to grow from about $474 million to almost $3.6 billion. And its EAGR is actually quite high, over 18.5%.
Higher than the regional average. Interesting. What about France?
France is a major contributor, too, looking at growth from roughly $363 million to over $2.4 billion by 2033. The CAGR there is a little lower, around 17.2%, but still very substantial growth.
Right. And it's easy to focus on the big three, but I imagine there's broader growth, too.
Absolutely. You've got Italy and Spain, for instance. Both are projected to see really remarkable growth, crossing the $1.3 billion and $1.5 billion marks, respectively, by 2033.
Yeah.
And then you have countries like Sweden, Denmark, Switzerland, Luxembourg, even Russia. They're all showing solid double-digit growth rates. It really indicates a a continent-wide shift towards embracing these models.
Okay, fascinating picture in Europe. Now,
Yeah.
you mentioned something earlier about dynamic growth. I suspect you're hinting at Asia Pacific.
You suspected right. Asia Pacific, or APAC, is, well, it's really the engine room for growth in this market. It boasts the highest KGR among all regions.
Okay, hit me with the numbers.
Over 19% CAGR, specifically 19.29%.
Wow.
We're talking growth from just over $2.7 billion back in 2021
Right.
to a projected $22.4 billion by 2033.
22.4 billion. That's overtaking Europe significantly. What's
Right.
fueling that? Massive populations, mobile tech.
It's all of that. Huge populations, yes. Rapidly expanding digital infrastructure, often leapfrogging desktop and going straight to mobile first. And a really high adoption of these, super apps that bundle everything, including gig work.
Makes sense. And within APAC, China must be enormous.
China's a leader, absolutely.
Yeah.
Expanding from around $808 million in 2021 to nearly $6.85 billion by 2033. That's a AGR of 19.5%.
Huge. But you said APAC had the highest regional EGRR. Is China the highest country AGR?
Ah, good question. No, actually, the real standout, the country with the absolute highest CAGR in the whole region, maybe even globally in this data set, is India.
India. Okay, what's their growth rate?
Over 20%, 20.194% CAGR.
Incredible. What does that translate to in dollars?
It translates to growth from about $400 million in 2021 to an expected $3.6 billion by 2033. It just highlights the immense potential there. You've got a vast, young, increasingly digitally savvy workforce.
Truly remarkable. What about other major economies there, like Japan or South Korea?
Also showing very robust growth, Japan is projected to grow from about $408 million to over $3.1 billion. South Korea from $240 million to over $1.8 billion. Both have KGRs comfortably above 18%.
Okay.
And we should also mention the momentum in places like Singapore. It has a 19.6% CAGR, and the broader Southeast Asia region collectively is looking at nearly a 20% CAGR.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, the rest of APAC, South Australia, Taiwan, others, that collective group is also strong, expected to hit over $2 billion by 2033.
So yeah, APAC isn't just growing fast. It feels like it's defining the future scale of this whole thing.
That surge in Asia Pacific is definitely something to watch.
Okay.
Okay, let's move south now. South America, are they getting in on the gig economy action too?
They absolutely are. South America is definitely embracing the model. The region's market is set to grow from just over $700 million to $717 million back in 2021
Right.
to over $5.5 billion by 2033. That's a strong CGR too, nearly 18.6%. Okay, similar growth rate to North America and Europe then, percentage-wise. Who's leading the charge there? Brazil, I guess.
Brazil is the leader, yeah. Its revenue is expected to rise from about $300 million to over $2.2 billion by 2033.
Okay.
But Argentina is also a really key player. It's actually growing faster in percentage terms, with a 19.1% CAGR, going from around $132 million to over $1 billion by 2033.
Interesting. Argentina with a higher growth rate. It really shows how this isn't just a developed economy thing. What's driving it there? Flexible income needs.
I think that's a big part of it, the need for flexible income, plus, evolving consumer demand for all sorts of on-demand services, from delivery to professional skills.
And beyond Brazil and Argentina?
Yeah, you've got other active contributors, Colombia, Peru, Chile. They're all part of this regional surge.
Yeah.
The rest of South America combined also shows strong growth. It's clear these platforms are really resonating across the continent.
Okay, good overview. Now let's shift focus again. The Middle East, often associated with, oil wealth, but increasingly with tech and innovation too. How does the gig economy fit in?
It fits in very well, actually. The Middle East is showing impressive expansion, really driven by that innovation push and significant investments in digital infrastructure.
So what are the numbers telling us?
Revenue there is projected to grow from under $500 million, about $485 million in 2021, to over $3.7 billion by 2033. The CAGR is strong, nearly 18.5%.
Okay, another region keeping pace with that 18% growth trend. Which countries are driving this? Saudi Arabia, UAE.
Exactly. Saudi Arabia is a major force. Its market is expected to grow to over $1 billion by 2033, starting from about $136 million.
Right.
And the UAE is showing really notable momentum. Its CAGR is particularly high, over 19.2%, projected to reach over $634 million by 2033.
Higher growth in the UAE again. Fascinating how these regional hubs are accelerating.
It is. And it's interesting because you also see nations like Turkey, Egypt, and Qatar showing a growing gig workforce. It seems increasingly backed by digital innovation, yes, but also sometimes government initiatives aimed at diversifying their economies, tapping into large youth population.
Right, those national development plans playing a role. Okay, one last major region to cover.
Hmm.
Africa, often talked about for its potential.
Yeah.
What's the gig economy story there?
Well, the numbers start smaller, as you might expect, given, varying levels of infrastructure currently. But the potential is definitely reflected in the growth rate.
Okay, lay it out for us.
Estimated growth from around $265 million in 2021
Mm-hmm.
to over $2 billion by 2033. That's with a very solid card GR of 17.5%, so still strong double-digit growth.
Over $2 billion.
Okay.
And within Africa, South Africa, Nigeria.
Those are the leaders, yes.
Okay.
South Africa's revenue is projected to jump pretty dramatically from about $111 million to over $900 million.
Wow, quite a leap.
And Nigeria is also advancing significantly, expected to reach nearly $377 million by 2033. What's really driving this, I think, is the rapid increase we're seeing in internet penetration and especially mobile adoption across many parts of the continent.
Creating fertile ground for these platforms, right?
Exactly. And the opportunities aren't just in those two countries. The rest of Africa category also presents massive potential. Those combined revenues are expected to cross $748 million by 2033.
Yearly $750 million there.
Yeah. It's a market that really feels poised for truly massive growth as connectivity and digital literacy continue to expand. It offers entirely new pathways for income and economic participation.
Okay, so we've done a whirlwind tour around the globe there. Let's just try and bring it all together for a moment.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in, but the core story is this incredible scale. We're seeing a market leap from, $11 billion in 2021
Right.
to an anticipated $82 billion plus by 2033. That's just over a decade.
It's genuinely transformative. And like we said at the start, this isn't just, numbers on a page for investors.
Not at all.
This is fundamentally changing how the world works, how people connect with opportunities, how they earn a living. It's reshaping individual lives and whole economies.
Absolutely. Creating avenues for income, for flexibility that, frankly, were hard to even imagine just 10 or 15 years ago.
It really changes the landscape for everyone, whether you're participating directly or just using the services these platforms enable.
Which leads us, I think, to a good final thought for you, the listener.
Go for it.
Given these, frankly, astonishing growth figures, this global reach, what could the world of work look like for you specifically, say, a decade from now?
Yeah, that's the key question, isn't it?
And maybe more importantly, how might you best navigate this? Or even, leverage this rapidly expanding landscape of flexible, tech-enabled ways to earn an income?
Something to definitely mull over as this gig economy continues its meteoric rise.
Precisely. Lots to think about.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to cut through the noise, really get under the hood of the gig economy. We're looking at some maybe surprising demographic shifts, overlooked rules or lack thereof, and how AI is actually creating new kinds of gig work you probably haven't even thought about yet. So we've got a whole stack of sources here, including bits from the gig economy's evolution, drivers, hurdles, and future. Our goal, pull out the key insights, the really important stuff just for you. Expect some aha moments, hopefully. We're going to unpack this huge shift in how people work, whole gig economy thing. What is it really? Why is it exploding in maybe unexpected ways? What are the real roadblocks? And yeah, where's it heading?
Yeah, and it's fascinating, isn't it, how much it's just, part of our everyday lives now. Sometimes you don't even notice your coffee delivery, maybe, or that specialist consultant you hire online. So we'll dig into the key drivers, definitely the growth, but also the things holding it back and those big trends pushing it forward. Trying to help you understand not just what's happening, but, the deeper why it actually matters.
Okay, let's unpack this then. So at its heart, the gig economy is an alternative to the old 9 to 5. People choosing their clients, their projects, their hours. But it's more than just flexibility, right? Sometimes we overlook how it opens doors for people who might struggle with traditional jobs.
That's a really important point, like single parents maybe, or people needing specific accessibility.
Exactly.
And yeah, for workers, especially younger ones, it is about that flexibility, the autonomy, being your own boss in a way, exploring different ways to earn money, building networks. That whole work-life balance thing is massive. And, it's interesting. Sometimes this leads to really high retention in certain specialized gig roles once someone finds that niche.
Ah, interesting. And looking at the business side, the appeal's just as strong, isn't it? These platforms offer scalable ways to get specialized talent, cost-effectively. Lets companies be more, well, nimble.
Absolutely. It helps them adapt fast. So you've got this kind of meeting point,
Hmm.
worker autonomy, employer agility. That combination fundamentally is what's driving this incredible market growth.
Right. It's like a perfect storm, in a way.
It is. And none of it happens without the tech,
But
obviously.
for sure, the digital connectivity, the tech advancements, they're the engine room.
So what specific tech has really made the biggest difference, do you think?
Well, just think about it, right? Everyone's got a smartphone. High-speed internet is pretty much everywhere now. That just makes real-time communication, finding jobs, even getting paid, it makes it all seamless, globally, too.
Exactly. Seamless is the word. A freelancer in, say, Mumbai can connect with a client in Berlin almost instantly, which raises the question, what's next for the tech side? What's really pushing the envelope?
Well, you hear a lot about things like blockchain, right?
Hmm.
For secure contracts and payments.
Yeah, blockchain's interesting, could bring real transparency. And then there's 5G that enables like really high fidelity remote work, think complex stuff, data heavy tasks, remote surgery even, or detailed design reviews.
Wow. And AI, of course. Artificial intelligence seems to be everywhere.
Absolutely. AI is huge here. It's making platforms smarter, faster, better matching, dynamic pricing, predicting performance. It's helping manage these huge pools of freelancers much more efficiently and kind of boosting trust and quality too.
Okay, but let's be real. It's not all positive. There are definitely headwinds, some significant challenges, and maybe the biggest one is all the legal and regulatory stuff. It seems messy.
Oh, it is. That's the core problem, really. How do you classify these workers? Are they independent contractors? Are they employees? It's debated all over the world, and there's no single answer, which causes a lot of friction.
Because that label, contractor versus employee, it changes everything, right?
Yeah.
Benefits, rights, protections.
Exactly. It has huge implications. Finding that balance, between encouraging innovation and making sure workers are protected, it's really tricky. It needs cooperation between the platforms, governments, labor groups. It's complex.
And it's not just the legal status, is it?
Mhm.
There's the day-to-day reality for many gig workers. Income can be unstable, there's not much job security, often no health insurance, no paid time off.
Precisely. That flexibility comes at a cost sometimes.
Yeah, and those downsides, they can definitely put people off long term. Maybe push them back to traditional jobs if they need more stability.
Indeed. And then there's the whole issue of quality control, fair treatment within the platforms themselves, making sure things are transparent and fair in such a decentralized system. That's an ongoing challenge for everyone involved. Building that long-term trust is crucial.
Okay, so bearing those challenges in mind, what about the future? Where is this all heading? You mentioned trends reshaping things. One you pointed out was the rise of niche platforms.
Yes, exactly. We're moving beyond the huge general freelance sites. Now you're seeing platforms pop up that are super specific, tailored for healthcare, for law, for education, complex logistics, you name it.
So more specialized.
Much more. And they don't just match skills better. They often handle the specific compliance or certification needs for that industry, which is vital, for building trust, especially in professional fields. It becomes about quality and specific expertise, not just finding anyone.
Makes sense. And another trend you mentioned was AI getting deeper into how these platforms actually work.
Right. AI is doing more than just basic matching now. It's getting really sophisticated. Think hyper-personalized job recommendations, automating scheduling really precisely, even predicting how reliable a worker might be.
Predicting reliability. Wow.
Yeah. It helps optimize everything, makes the whole system more efficient for both sides, the worker and the client. It's moving things from just reacting to, well, predicting and orchestrating work more intelligently.
That sounds incredibly powerful, almost a bit sci-fi.
It kind of is. And what's interesting is sometimes this predictive stuff reveals patterns even the workers didn't realize about themselves, like their peak performance times or the types of projects they're actually best suited for. It can actually reshape how people manage their own work.
Huh. Okay, and the third big trend, globalization.
Yes, the globalization of gig work. Remote work is, well, pretty normal now for many roles. So these platforms are letting workers in, say, developing countries offer their services to clients in wealthier regions. It's creating genuinely global talent pools.
Which sounds like an amazing opportunity.
It absolutely is, unlocking huge economic potential. But it also brings up some tough questions.
Like what?
Well, practical things. like digital taxes across different countries. How do you ensure fair pay when costs of living are so different? How do you align different labor laws and rights across borders? It's not just about being connected online.
It's about making it work fairly, equitably on a global scale.
Exactly. It's about equity, inclusion, responsibility. And then there are the ripple effects. What happens when talent can just move so freely across digital borders? How do regulations keep up?
Right. Okay, so let's try and bring this all together. The gig economy, it's clearly not some fringe thing anymore. It's mainstream. It's reshaping industries, jobs, how people live, really.
Definitely. You've got powerful tech changing attitudes about work, especially that desire for flexibility and businesses needing agile talent. All those things point to continued growth, long-term expansion, but
But
it has to evolve carefully, needs the right mix of innovation, platform reliability, trust, and, crucially, regulations that can adapt.
so for you listening, the takeaway here is pretty significant. Whether you're thinking about doing gig work yourself, or you're hiring people, or you just want to understand where work is heading, this affects you. We really hope this deep dive has given you a clearer view, maybe some of those aha moments about this really fascinating, fast-changing world.
And it leaves you with a question, perhaps. Given how connected everything is becoming, what actually happens to traditional jobs, traditional companies, when specialized talent is available instantly from literally anywhere? That's something to maybe mull over.
It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for diving deep with us today. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.